are very famous, surely one of the solutions to not being upset by this is just not to read it.
Yes, but I suspect there are very few celebrities who don't Google themselves regularly, such as the nature of fame. I mean, we're only a few minutes into this, and it's already actually generating headlines, I can see. I mean, along with this witness statement that we just heard Cameron read from regarding blood-stained fingers typing, we also have the Duke remarkably saying, "Our country is judged globally by the state of our press and our government, both of which I believe are at rock bottom." Now, that is an unprecedented statement by a member of the royal family, saying that the British government is at rock bottom. I mean, this is really quite remarkable stuff, and I can't think of any other occasion when a member of the royal family has spoken quite so critically and definitively about the government.
This is Prince Harry wading into this is Prince Harry declaring himself a political figure.
Yes, I mean, you can't imagine what Her Majesty would have thought of something like this. I mean, it is completely without... It violates all of the rules of monarchy, which is to rise above politics, to be that unifying institution. You know, you can support the Tories or support Labour, but you can still love your monarch and support the monarchy, and that's the important role that it plays, is not to be dragged down into party politics. And that, I think, is a very damaging thing to say. But it was a written statement. This was not an off-the-cuff remark, so this has gone through the approval of his defence team, which includes a former Lib Dem Member of Parliament who's on the legal team here. So it's quite remarkable. But overall, what we're seeing here, what Cameron has been relaying, is Andrew Green, the King's Counsel here, trying to show what a poor historian Prince Harry is, that his recollection of facts is not what you would expect from someone who's making a definitive case like this. And he's actually saying, in other words, your grievance isn't about specific articles, because actually of these 140 articles that you've selected, some of them are selected by your legal team. You don't actually recall reading any specific articles. You've basically got a general grievance against the press, and you're actually using these articles to justify that, even though you can't actually point to any single one saying, this one caused me specific paranoia.
It is remarkable that given the amount of wealth Prince Harry has, given his esteemed legal team, for the first few minutes of this case to unveil some pretty basic inconsistencies. The fact that he didn't have a mobile phone when he said he had a mobile phone. How on earth did that get past his own lawyers?
Well, you're wondering how well... I mean, in America, of course, they do go through a mock trial, which they don't do in this country. And you would have thought that if they did do that, of course, you would be able to iron out these things. But there isn't supposed to be coaching of clients here, because it is quite remarkable. Also, of course, statements... Another example here, the lawyers have pointed out, actually, that a day before one of the articles, evidence was published elsewhere about something that was being reported.
We're just highlighting a little bit of a statement on the screen here for those of you who are listening on the radio. It says, the facts and matters set out in this is Harry's speaking witness statement, derive from my own knowledge and are true, except where I indicate that the information derives from a third party, in which case it is true to the best of my knowledge and belief. The witness statement was prepared by my solicitors following a series of video calls with them. In this witness statement, I refer to documents which are listed at the end of the statement. These include 50 newspaper articles published by the defendants' newspapers, which contain private and confidential information relating to me and my associates, which was not publicly known and which I now understand might have been obtained unlawfully by the defendants, along with the documents that have been disclosed in the course of my claim. That sums up, in a nutshell, what this is actually about on the surface. But as Rafe has just said, it starts to look like, if you unpick the individuals, that it is a big grievance. And I think most of us, with a heart, can understand that grievance, given that he would lay the death of his mother at the hands of the paparazzi. It's yet again another example, though, Rafe, of where maybe he just needs to come to terms with that therapeutically himself, rather than keep dragging himself and other members of the royal family publicly over the coals.
I think that there's much truth in that. I mean, you do have to understand where he's coming from. Because of the leaking of these stories in the 90s, his social circle became ever smaller because he kept thinking, these are my friends who are leaking. Now, for all we know, they may have been leaking this to the press. It could have been his friends rather than phone hacking, or he could have been... But that, of course, reinforces the paranoia. And it also damaged his relationship with his brother, we now know. because one of their fights was actually reported in the press by what means we don't know. But once you see your personal, private arguments being laid bare, that again creates a degree of resentment and distance between the two parties.